Well, I'm Greg and welcome to the shed. Back to the Churchill Redman shaper. Tonight, because it's evening now, what we're going to do is we're probably going to give it a colonoscopy. We're going to go in through the back entrance and have a look in its bowels. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drain the oil out of it. I stuck my hand in the bottom of the sump and it was a memorable experience. Not necessarily a pleasant one, but it was memorable. The problem with this machine, as would be typical of a lot of them, not this particular, just this shaper, but I'm talking shapers in general, of this configuration, is that with the back of the machine being open to atmosphere, every bit of dust in the workshop that settles gets down inside and gets into the oil. And it's been some years since the machine's been painted, and I'll show you something. There's the oil sight glass, and that looks like the drain plug for the sump. That is not a sign of something that excites me. Yeah, I think it's a while since it's had an oil change. Well, in order to do what I need to do, I need to do something. I need to listen to the noise it makes. Maybe get that out of the way. That was the clapper box. Don't know if you can see that yet. The inertia of the clapper box. That's 44 strokes a minute. Let's go to 12. That's 12 strokes per minute. I want that right back because when I get in the other side, you'll see why I want it right back. Basically, the arms get in the way. So, there we go. There are a couple of gremlins in it that I'm aware of, but we'll get into them a bit later. The first thing I need to do is have a look in the bottom and see what I find. Actually, let's show it off. Change the plans. Power feed, cable. This is rapid reverse. Yeah. Let's go the other direction. Not much rapid reverse going on there. That's up. So you kick it out. So we got some gremlins in here. I need to have a look at. Now those gremlins could have been induced by myself, so I had to have this off and I had this cover off when I dismantled the machine to get it here. So they could be induced by myself. 10th out. So pretty obvious that we've got a problem here. It does, however, when I get this engaged, carefully. That's another problem, is that this doesn't always engage. So I think we've got a problem with excessive clearance in there. So what I'll do is I'll turn you off and let's get into doing a bit of a service on it. Now, before anyone talks to me about safety, there's the power plug. The margin for error on this machine is negative. The first thing you get wrong, you have lost something. So yeah, alright, let's get on with it. Well, I've got a clean and a well washed out container here. And what I'm going to do is we're going to find out how tight this is. And the answer is, it's certainly not loose. I'm working from the wrong side here. A little bit of friction reducer. Put that away from my knuckles. Alright, we might turn you off and we'll go and get another spanner. So what I've got here is I've got a 13mm socket because half inch doesn't fit very well. Or more accurately, half inch doesn't fit at all. And ironically, the tool that I'm using is the tool that I use for operating the stroke adjuster and moving stuff around. I use it on the other one. I just change the sockets out. But on this one, I change the socket out and it works the stroke adjuster. So let's see how ugly this is. Certainly looks pretty ugly. Actually, looks a lot better. Yeah. See a big blob of glue coming out. When I put my fingers in the bottom of the machine, there is probably one finger joint of sludge and muck and crap in the bottom of the machine. And it's all really fine. It's essentially just silt. It's dust that's been blown around the workshops that the machine's been in. And basically what it is it's nothing more than grinding powder. And a lot of it will be so fine that it will get through the oil filter that's on the machine, which you'll get a bit of a look at later. Come across to here, you might actually get to see a bit more. There we go. Now I'm hoping you can see this, but there is quite a considerable amount of rocks, or I say rocks. It's just primarily dirt that's in the bottom here. It's just, oh, you can't see, it's just lumps of dirt. And yeah, we'll just keep at it. We're down to about 1/4 of a sight glass now, so what I do with these, one of the reasons that I cut them like this is that when it comes to emptying them, I can pour them out of the filler hole into a funnel or into another container or wherever I want. I don't have to pour out of the corner. And what it means is that I make a lot less mess, which for me is a bit of a challenge because I'm generally pretty good at making a fairly large mess. I really consider the people around you want a bit oil all over my hands. It wasn't that urgent. Right. Container. Poor man's funnel. And if you don't rush it too much, it's actually very easy. So, doesn't matter what you do, there is still room for operator error. So now we're looking in, and I think you get to understand what I mean by we're looking at just sludge. That what's left in the bottom there is basically just silt and sludge, and you might be able to see. I don't know if you'll be able to or not, but I can see there's the outline of the sump where the hole comes through. There is an oil filter there, which is a pre-filter. Then we come up to here, that there's a main pressure filter. It's a Takao limit, it says. We'll have to pull that off and see if we can get a cartridge, get an element for it. I don't know if you can see. Let's see if we can get you in here. I'm actually having trouble seeing what the camera's seeing because of the torch. You might be able to see. Don't know. That's not very good, but that's see the build up of shit in the corner there. I think that probably says it all. Okay, time to get into some serious cleaning.